Soul, Nature, and God, Part 2. The next thing to consider is whence all these things come. The answer is what is meant by coming. If it means that something can be produced out of nothing, it is impossible. All this creation, manifestation cannot be produced out of zero. Nothing can be produced without a cause, and the effect is but the cause reproduced. Here is a glass. Suppose we break it to pieces and pulverize it, and by means of chemicals almost annihilate it. Will it be back to zero? Certainly not. The form will break, but the particles of which it is made will be there. They will go beyond our senses, but they remain, and it is quite possible that out of these materials another glass may be made. If this is true in one case, it will also be in so every case. Something cannot be made out of nothing, nor can something be made to go back to nothing. It may become finer and finer, and then again grosser and grosser. The raindrops is drawn from the ocean in the form of vapors and drifts away through the air to the mountains. There it changes again into water and flows back through hundreds of miles down to the mother ocean. The seed produces the tree. The tree dies, leaving only the seed. Again it comes up as another tree, which again ends in the seeds, and so on. Look at the bird, how from the egg it springs, becomes a beautiful bird, lives its life, and then dies, leaving only other eggs containing germs of future birds. So with the animals, so with men. Everything begins, as it were, from certain seeds, certain rudiments, certain fine forms, and becomes grosser and grosser as it develops. And then again it goes back to that fine form and subsides. The whole universe is going on in this way. There comes a time when this whole universe melts down and becomes finer, and at last disappears entirely, as it were, but remains as superfine matter. We know through modern science and astronomy that this earth is cooling down, and in course of time it will become very cold, and then it will break to pieces and become finer and finer until it becomes ether once more. Yet the particles will all remain to form the materials out of which another earth will be projected. Again that will disappear and another will come out. So this universe will go back to its causes, and again its materials will come together and take form. Like the wave that goes down, rises again and takes shape. The acts of going back to causes and coming out again, taking form, are called in Sanskrit Sankocha and Vikasha, which means shrinking and expanding. The whole universe, as it were, shrinks and then it expands again. To use the more accepted words of modern science, they are involved and evolved. You hear about evolution, how all forms grow from lower ones, slowly growing up and up. This is very true, but each evolution presupposes an involution. We know that the sum total of energy that is displayed in the universe is the same at all times, and that matter is indestructible. By no means can you take away one particle of matter. You cannot take away a foot-pound of energy or add one. The sum total is same always. Only the manifestation varies, being involved and evolved. So this cycle is the evolution out of the involution of the previous cycle, and this cycle will again be involved, getting finer and finer, and out of which that will come the next cycle. The whole universe is going on in this fashion. Thus we find that there is no creation in the sense that something is created out of nothing. To use a better word, there is manifestation, and God is the manifester of the universe. The universe, as it were, is being breathed out of him, and again it shrinks into him, and again he throws it out. A most beautiful simile is given in the Vedas. That eternal one breathes out this universe and breathes it in, just as we breathe out a little particle of dust and breathe in it again. This is all very good, but the question may be asked, how was it at the first cycle? The answer is, what is the meaning of the first cycle? There was none. If you can give a beginning to time, the whole concept of time will be destroyed. Try to think of a limit where time began. You have to think of time beyond the limit. try to think where space begins, you will have to think of the space beyond that. Time and space are infinite and therefore have neither beginning nor end. This is a better idea than that God created the universe in 5 minutes and then went to sleep and since then has been sleeping. On the other hand, this idea will give us God as the eternal creator. Here is a series of waves rising and falling, and God is directing this eternal process. As the universe is without beginning and without end, so is God. We see that it must necessarily be so because if we say there was a time when there was no creation, either in the gross or in the fine form, then there was no God because God is known to us as Sakshi, the witness of the universe. When the universe did not exist, neither did he. One concept follows the other. The idea of the cause we get from the idea of the effect, and if there is no effect, there will be no cause. It naturally follows that as the universe is eternal, God is eternal.